Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Rafael's Insights. Welcome. I welcome you into the world of Satark, the divine, the beautiful. Today's video is going to be on the predictions of February 2024. Definitely, it's going to be another radical month. I mean, this year is just going to be radical itself. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about the Year of the Dragon. I told you a little bit in my other predictions, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more on this one. So, first things first. The card that's going to dominate the month of February is the card of the High Priestess. It says it's going to be a very political month. It says that things are going to get more tense between political parties. And in terms of political people or people in power, they need to watch out for terror attacks against their life, people trying to remove them from power. Definitely with what's going on with the Texas situation, the Republicans against the Democrats, they're all getting together to try to knock down Biden. And I'll tell you, it's working, because I see that Biden's losing more and more power and Trump is gaining more and more power. And the Year of the Dragon, what it does, it sparks a lot of complicated situations with political parties or political people. That's why I was telling you that I see that the political parties were going to go at it in a very intense way that we've never seen before. And I think we've already began to see that. In terms of civil war, I do see some sort of like a civil war standoff, or in terms of like tensions that are going to continue to escalate between like civil war. And in terms of Texas itself, I'm not really seeing Texas against the United States. I see Texas against Mexico. So Texas and Mexico are going to be going at it a little bit more intense. I see that things are going to get more complicated between Texas and Mexico, for sure. But it's going to be a month of radical changes. So the card of the Death card is also going to be dominating. There's going to be radical changes in terms of immigration or political power. I'll cut that part out when I edit the video. And in terms of the card of the Moon is going to be dominating, continue to dominate. Before spring arrives, I see a strong cold front. I see another strong cold front, more intense than the last one, and it's going to affect the northern part of the countries. So I definitely see that still on the way. And then the card of the Moon also dominates in terms of floods. I see floods in Asia, Australia, US, California, Florida, Europe. And in terms of Australia, I still see a stronger cyclone that's coming in your direction, because I even see, and I'm not sure if it's connected to the cyclone or not, but they say people missing. My beings of light say that there's people missing. In terms of California and Florida, I see some massive floods like never seen before. I don't know what that has to do with I don't know if it has to do with the one that like atmospheric rain, or it's something else, but I see some massive floods. In terms of the layoffs, I see that there's going to be more layoffs. Businesses are going to be closing, so be careful. In terms of, I've already told you guys that I saw some issues coming up in terms of FedEx. I made a video about that, and I'm seeing it again. UPS just laid off a lot of people because they're trying to save money. I see layoffs for FedEx as well, and for other companies as well. I see the death of another politician in Canada, and in the US I see the death of another person in the Senate, the House, or the what is the or from the Supreme Court. I don't know exactly the name for them, but I see someone passing in terms of that. And in terms of Biden, I see that Biden's health he's going to be dealing with health issues this month as well. So he needs to take care of himself, because it seems like he wants to get like a heart attack or a stroke, an aneurysm. So something's going on with Biden that we don't know about. And in terms of King Charles, I see that he's going to continue to have problems with his health, because I just did a reading for King Charles, and I saw that he was going to be struggling with his health once again. I see that he's going to be getting another surgery. And in terms of the crown itself, the what is it called? like the realeza, in terms of the realeza, I'm going to say it in Spanish. I see that there's major preparations of changes that are coming. I see changes to the crown. I see changes in terms of power, a little bit more ahead, but I definitely see them. And I see that they're preparing some sort of change between King Charles and somebody else as well. And the year of the dragon is going to bring intensity with everything. With everything. War, climate, everything. I really don't even know what other categories there are. Everything's going to be intense. Tensions between countries, political parties, very tense. And the card of the judgment and the card of the devil tells me another war. And the interesting thing is that I have a list of places that I saw war. Australia, you're not out of this. You're part of the category. I see war that wants to come to Australia, or there's a war that wants to start with Australia. Also Canada, and also South Korea, North Korea. The tensions between the U.S. and the Middle East, they're going to continue to rise. That's going to get more complicated. I already tell you that the year of the snake was when 9/11 happened. That's next year, and things are leading up to something bigger. So definitely I see that war is going to escalate. It's going to be an intense year of war and of new wars. And I see new wars. I see earthquakes again this month. I see that it's going to be a very moved month in terms of earthquakes, and I see it's going to be a very moved year in terms of earthquakes. I do see a strong earthquake for the U.S. It's probably going to be either March, May, September, or October. Those are the months that I see, but I still see a stronger earthquake in California this month as well, or earthquakes in California this month. Not only California, in Mexico, Latin America, I see an earthquake between 4.3 to 6.1. And in Asia, I see one between 6.1 to 7.4. So definitely, I still see a lot of movement. I still see a lot of movement in terms of earthquakes. In the Caribbean, all those minor earthquakes that are happening around, I see a strong earthquake for one of the islands. Puerto Rico, most likely, I would say, but in general, I see an earthquake for Puerto Rico. You saw how it just came out? The spirits are saying, the angels are saying that it's Puerto Rico. But if not, earthquakes also, and I see a strong earthquake for the Caribbean, because I even see death. That's a strong thing to say. I think a lot of people are wondering this. Is there going to be drafts in the U.S.? Yes. I started seeing visions of drafts. And right before I started seeing visions of drafts, then the UK comes out saying that they were going to start drafting people. But I do see drafts either this year or in the next few years, but I do see military drafts, and it's not in 10 years. It's soon. I also see like a building collapsing in Mexico, Latin America, and in the US. And in the US, I see an explosion. I still see another intense cold front that's going to be stronger than the last one. And it's going to be affecting mostly the northern part of the countries. I do see another plane crash. Let me use a different card. Where did it go? Where did it go? Aquí está. I do see another plane crash in Asia as well. And in the US as well. And in the US, I see a very strong transportation accident, like strong, because I saw a lot of death. It's either going to be an aircraft or a train. Or we'll just say in general, I had a vision of a very strong transportation accident, but I saw a lot of death. And in terms of people passing, I see an artist passing or someone famous well, yo creo que in Australia as well, because I just accidentally said Australia. So Australia, in the UK, and Latin America. And I had a very specific vision. I don't know why, but I see a terror attack in Georgia or in the South. So be careful in terms of mass shootings, in terms of people who want to harm other people in those areas. But other than that, you guys, things are going to continue complicated. It's going to be a very complicated year. That's why I shared with you guys what I shared with you guys. Other than that, There's one more thing I wanted to tell you guys. I had a vision of a cruise. I've told you guys multiple times already about this cruise ship, but I had a vision again about a cruise ship sinking. And then I started seeing people waiting like in lanchas or in like little boats to be rescued. And then I see a vision by Australia that something goes missing. Either a boat goes missing or it sinks either in the Indian Ocean or in the Pacific Ocean. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It was an absolute pleasure. It's going to be a very radical month. There's going to be radical changes, and it's going to continue radical. The month itself is going to be intense from all aspects. The people in political power have to watch out in terms of terror attacks, and it's going to continue to be very aggressive. There's also going to be volcanic movements, volcanic eruption. There's going to be power outages in the U.S. because of the climate that's going to be very radical. But other than that, it's an absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure. You guys have a great day, and it's always a pleasure to bring you guys my predictions. The Super Bowl prediction is going to be on my other pages, and I probably won't do that prediction till next week. So if you're waiting for that, it's probably not going to be till next week. You guys have a great day or night or whatever you're watching, and it's always a pleasure. Bye-bye.